Ed Rushman talking with Whitestone Journal, talking a little bit about current trends in instant gratification. When I was taking some marketing classes, and this is back in, I don't know, 2007 or something for my master's, it was already underway, but we talked a little bit about where things were going in products. Customization, the idea that consumers would be able to get whatever they want, you know, whatever color they want, whatever style they want, quickly and easily. And that was a lot because of the e-commerce stuff, because of the web. Being able to order something online and, you know, a few days later it shows up at the door. Some of this was kind of predicted in marketing long before they saw the trend happening. A lot of trends are driven by what people can really get, and doing things online, plus cheap labor overseas sometimes, allowed them to make products very quickly that were customized in some way. Plus, I mean, now it's possible you can get a sewing machine that'll take, you can take it, send it a picture, and the sewing machine will do it in thread for you and actually create that picture embroidered on something. It is not cheap. I checked into this as a possible product, as a possible service doing it. Anyway, the point is, you know, a lot of the time people talk about a particular generation, and I've pledged not to talk about those because I think it's wrong. I think really it's about being people of our time. And it's not a matter of the age. I mean, there's some people that are older that don't adopt certain new trends because they're stuck in their ways, and there's certain young people that are going to buck whatever trend there is and not be the way that a lot of the people in that time are. But having said that, I mean, hippies, you know, hippies were around. They weren't necessarily that many of them, but they were certainly around bucking a trend at the time, which was, you know, a lot of growth, a lot of making money and material success after World War II. Later than that, yeah. So the point is, if it's about getting exactly what you want, customized the way you want it, quickly and easily, and often for a lower cost, then I wonder what that means for some of the social stuff we're seeing now, because are people less patient? Do people expect to get their food faster at restaurants? Do they expect everything faster, better, cheaper? It's not cheaper. Things are getting more expensive. Food is more expensive now as a percentage of what you make in an hour than it was. A lot of other things are too. Housing costs are way up. I look at a lot of the stuff around livable wage or making a living wage, and it's really not a matter of people making a living wage. It's a matter that people can make a living wage earlier. And it's not that everybody's able to make one, even now, even after working for years, but it used to be that you had to work a while, and in just about every society through all of human existence, children were dependent on their parents to a significant degree later. They'd get married young, but then they would go live with one of the families. It wasn't a matter of getting married young and then getting a house in the suburbs with a picket fence. That didn't happen. Certainly most places in the world didn't have a picket fence. But it stayed with the family unit longer and enabled people to get a start, and then the young in time with that help eventually became the old. And there was the circle of life, you know, I mean, there's all that going on. But now it's like, as soon as you're 18, you're supposed to be able to go get a job, and a minimum wage job, which it's expected that provides you a way to make a living and have a house and all the other stuff. Or a place to live, a room, you know, something. It doesn't have to be a house, obviously. But leaving aside whether that makes sense economically or anything else, it's a pretty significant change, and that's a very, very ambitious goal for movements, governments, whatever, to set that at 18 years old somebody is totally self-sufficient. It's a pretty hard thing to achieve. But it's not just that. It's wanting things the way we want them. And it's not just the young. To a large degree, people are breaking, you know, things that have been a certain way for a long time. They're breaking a lot of that at all ages. Older people in some cultures, like in China, were discouraged from marrying again if one of the spouses died. Well, that's gone. You know, they're doing it more. We're certainly doing it more here. There's a lot more, as they say, pursuing one's own bliss, which in some Buddhist discussions, as I understand it, and I'm not an authority on Buddhism, there's the idea that seeking one's happiness apart from the happiness of others is disordered and creates a disjointedness, creates a pain in the world, makes for a world that doesn't work as well. And it is a dysfunctional world. I mean, somebody recently just replied to one of my postings and said, the world's the best it's ever been and everything is wonderful, and you're just, don't want to admit that science has made everything great. And there's a lot of people in Aleppo and Syria that would disagree with that. We're not where we need to be. But it's something to think about. Are you expecting to get everything your own way when you want it? Do you want everything that you want when you want it? How hard are you willing to work for it? Because the people that I see that are the strongest about wanting, they want to go out, get their first job, and instantly it allows them to live on their own completely independently. A lot of the time, they're not really willing to work hard. The idea that we had before, that you work hard to make a place for your world, make a place for yourself in the world, that we work hard to achieve, we work hard to, in a sense, bend the world to our desire, bend the world to our vision. And the desire to bend the world to our vision is there. People have it. But there doesn't seem to be a willingness to take the time for it. And I don't think that's just the young. I think that's all of us. Even taking the time to build a good marriage, taking the time to raise children, giving time to our children is not necessarily the best thing. Doesn't seem to be something we're doing right now. Ed Rushman, Whitestone Journal.